Have you ever lived somewhere so quiet that the silence starts to feel unnatural? Where even your own breathing feels too loud. Some apartments are cheap for a reason. And sometimes, walls remember more than we want them to. This is a true story, or at least, she believed it was true until the very end. A story of grief, of echoes from the past, and of something that waited patiently behind a locked door. After ending a 7-year relationship, 29-year-old Naomi Clark was desperate for a fresh start, not in the form of adventure or reinvention, but simply in silence. She moved out of the bustling city and into the quiet outer edge of Willowbrook, a suburban town nobody ever seemed to talk about. The apartment complex she found online, Cedar Pines, was dated but charming in its photos, and the rent was almost suspiciously low. She didn't ask questions. All she wanted was solitude, and Unit 4A was available for immediate move-in. When she arrived, the building looked older than it did in the pictures, brick walls cracked with time, a faded green carpet that whispered underfoot, and hallways that never seemed quite lit enough. Still, it felt manageable. There was a strange comfort in its stillness. The landlady, a soft-spoken woman named Edith Lorne, handed Naomi the keys without much conversation. Just one line stuck with her. "You're next to 4B. Don't worry about the noise. The unit's been empty for years." Naomi didn't think much of it at the time. She was too tired. She unpacked slowly over the next few days and relished the quiet nights with books and cups of tea. But that silence wouldn't last. One night, around 2:15 a.m., Naomi woke to a faint sound. Whispers. They weren't coming from outside, nor the hallway. It was the wall. The one she shared with apartment 4B. At first, it was subtle, like distant radio static. A murmur. Two voices. A man and a woman. She couldn't make out the words, but they weren't yelling. It was conversational. Repetitive. She sat up in bed, listening harder. Then silence. Just her refrigerator humming in the next room. The next morning, she asked Edith, half jokingly, "Hey, you sure 4B's empty? I think someone had a whole midnight debate in there." Edith blinked at her, face unreadable. Nobody's had keys to that unit since 2011. Naomi laughed awkwardly but said nothing more. Still, something about the look in Edith's eyes unsettled her, like a subtle warning left unspoken. The whispers returned the next night. Again at 2:15 a.m., like clockwork. This time, a little louder. Naomi pressed her ear to the wall, trying to catch words. All she heard was a phrase repeated by a woman's voice. "He never left." Then, what sounded like a man whispering, "Don't listen to her." Naomi jumped back. She turned on all the lights in her apartment and didn't sleep until morning. Over the following week, the sounds became more frequent. Not just whispers, footsteps. Knocks. Occasionally, laughter. Always faint, always just muffled enough to leave her doubting. She even left a cup on the floor against the wall one night, like some detective in a movie. And she heard it again, two people talking. Then a third voice, her own name. Naomi. Clear. Direct. Whispered like a secret. She backed away, heart pounding. Desperate for answers, Naomi asked the maintenance guy, Marcus, about 4B. He shrugged. "That place is sealed." Like, actually sealed. "We gutted it years ago. Pipes don't even run through it anymore. No one's in there." So what the hell was she hearing? One evening, she stood outside the door to 4B, feeling the paint-chipped surface beneath her fingers. There was dust, undisturbed. The number plaque was cracked in half. She leaned in to listen. Nothing. Then, just as she turned away, she heard a slow knock from the inside. She froze. Her breath caught. She knocked once in return. Nothing. Then, 3 rapid knocks, like someone trying to get out. The next day, she visited the town library and began digging. Local records. Newspaper archives. Anything. She found what she was looking for in a 2011 newspaper headline. Tragedy at Cedar Pines. Couple found dead in suspected murder-suicide. The apartment? 4B. The names. Lewis and Erica Waller. She found their wedding photo. Erica's eyes felt familiar, kind, but distant. The article mentioned strange reports from neighbors in the weeks leading up to their deaths. Whispers. Fights. Erica had claimed the walls were breathing at night. Naomi didn't sleep that night. The sounds were louder than ever. The walls creaked and shifted. At 2:15 a.m., her bedroom mirror shook slightly. She covered it with a blanket. Then came the voices. Let her in. She needs to see. In a fog of fear and determination, Naomi found an old bobby pin, crept out into the hallway, and approached 4B again. The door gave in more easily than it should have. The apartment inside was frozen in time. Dust blanketed every surface. Wallpaper peeled from corners. The air was cold and dense, like walking into forgotten grief. In the center of the room sat 2 old wooden chairs, facing each other. A broken mirror leaned against the wall. And the faint scent of lavender soap, like someone had just left minutes ago. Naomi stepped inside. The door slammed shut behind her. She spun around. Tried the knob. Nothing. In the corner of her vision, the chairs scraped softly against the floor. She turned slowly. They hadn't moved, but in the mirror, she saw 2 figures sitting in them. A man with hollow eyes. A woman with her hands covering her face. Naomi screamed, but no sound came out. When she awoke, she was lying on the floor outside 4B. The door was shut. Locked. Her phone was recording a 3-hour voice memo. She played it back. The first hour, silence. The second, whispering. The third, was her own voice, distorted and hollow. She should have kept quiet. He never left. We're all here now. Naomi tried to leave the building that morning, bags packed, but her front door wouldn't open. Not jammed, just refused. When she tried to call anyone, the call failed. Every time. The apartment changed after that. Mirrors reflected the hallway instead of her face. Lights flickered even when off. Her couch would be found moved overnight, always facing the wall she feared. On her final night, Naomi sat on the floor, back against the door. She recorded one last voice note. If anyone finds this, I think they chose me. I hear them even when it's quiet now. I can't tell which voice is mine anymore. Then the recording cuts to static. Weeks later, a new tenant named Chelsea signed her lease for Unit 4A. She asked Edith about the history. Edith smiled. We don't keep track of the past here. The walls take care of it. That first night, Chelsea was woken at 2:15 a.m. Muffled whispers through the wall. She's listening again. She should have kept quiet.